Right. Well, I'm delighted to be joined by Doug and Lindsey Vestal. Perhaps you could start by giving us a little overview of the business and what it does and yourselves.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to cover
Sure.
business?
Yeah. So I'm an occupational therapist specializing in pelvic health. And I basically train other occupational therapists how to step in kind of a niche area of rehab, going through our graduate and doctoral studies. We don't actually touch on this taboo topic at all. So it has been my private practice and background has been in providing these services. And it is an incredible joy and pleasure to be able to help other occupational therapists step into this incredibly fulfilling role that dramatically impacts our clients' quality of life.
Yeah, fantastic. And then Doug, your role in the business, perhaps just describe that for us.
Yeah, so it started out as an in-person private pay practice in New York City. And while Lindsay was treating all the clients, I was working on all of the business strategy behind the scenes. And then in 2018, we kind of pivoted and started to go online training all of the OTs. And I had been doing lots of research on emails and landing pages and course creation for my own benefit. And then Lindsay and I came to the conclusion, well, we're getting a lot of people reaching out wanting to learn from Lindsay. And so I've then just applied all of that same business strategy to all of the back end stuff that most people don't see from an online business perspective.
Fantastic. So we started working together just over a year ago, I think. I forget the exact date, but it's been a little over a year. And so we're going to just in this conversation just describe the evolution that the business has been on, the journey that you guys have been on. So perhaps you could take us back to where you were and where the business was at the beginning, and what were you looking to achieve? Where were you looking to take the business?
Yeah. So back when we first started working together about a year ago, we just had distinct individual products, right? We had a product that would allow an occupational therapist to dip their toes into pelvic floor therapy. Then we had kind of a more advanced curriculum. Then we added a certification here. And I think like a lot of course creators, we didn't, it happened very organic, right? Over 7 years. And so we just started adding on different products. And what we didn't have, and Ollie, this is testament to you, what working with you has really solidified this, is we didn't have a path for OTs to go from complete newbie to fully confident to becoming certified. And that is really what a lot of OTs wanted because they were piecemealing all of their CEU credits here and there. And we were just a part of that. And so the real transformation that's happened in the last year is really simplifying all of our offerings, putting it into a level one program, followed by a level two program, and then followed by an ultimate certification so that anybody who is starting from scratch has this guided journey. They don't need to go anywhere else. They have full confidence that they can start and end with us and ultimately become certified, which is what most occupational therapists actually want at the end of the day.
Mm. It's really interesting because it is that pathway that you described, and I remember when you were first you first told me about your business, and I remember and I asked the question, so what do you sell? What do you offer? And it was like this and this and this and this and this, and there were these live events and live. I mean, there was, I mean, you had like 10 or 12 different things going on, and I suppose that is what happens when you just try stuff out over time, right? And the business ends up becoming this, all these different things. But it was apparent to me that, I kind of put myself in the shoes, which was not easy for me to do, but I put myself in the shoes of an occupational therapist, wanting to retrain, coming across your business, and looking at the main offerings, and just thinking to myself, if I'm coming here and I want to retrain, it's not clear to me what this journey, like, what does retraining look like on a simple level? Because is it all of these small products, or is there actually a journey or a pathway? And that was the thing that that I felt was most most lacking from the perspective of someone encountering you in the first place and describing what you do. Um, Lindsey, I remember you talking about a distinction between, for you as the founder of the business, as the practitioner, a tension between what you wanted to offer and deliver based on your experience and what the students themselves actually needed. But and this for me is it sounds like it's specific to your niche, but actually it's applicable to all businesses because it involves us being able to actually understand what's needed from the student perspective. So perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that, what that journey was like for you.
Yeah, of course. So, just a little bit of background. Typically in the United States, pelvic floor therapy is really dominated by physical therapists. Occupational therapists have more of a background in mental health. We also provide physical rehab, but because of that separation and those silos, it was really hard over a decade ago when I got into the field to find courses that I could learn this trade from. In fact, I got a lot of pushback from people saying, "Oh, you're an occupational therapist, you can't do this." And anyone that knows me knows I'm a little bit of a rebel. And when I hear that, I go, I'm going to get there 10 times faster. How do I figure this out? So for me, my journey was sort of like, how do I get there? I'm going to make this happen no matter what. I'm so driven. I'm so called to treat these clients. Whereas, kind of like, I guess maybe a lot of people who first start something or see a path a little bit differently, they don't kind of need those rules in place. They don't need that path laid out for them. And so I actually thought through the majority of my career in supporting other OTs that they also didn't need that. I thought, oh, I'll be putting up blocks. I'll be making something more complicated than it needed to be. I got here, you can too. And working with you, Olly, really helped me step back and see actually the majority of folks really do want a path laid out for them so they feel confident, comfortable, assured that they're not spending useless time or money pursuing a specialty that honestly, at the end of the day, we're still not as well known for as physical therapists.
Mm.
So I think for me, it took me stepping outside what got me here, recognizing that the field at large, especially if we want to experience the growth that we want to experience, at the end of the day, in my heart, I truly believe occupational therapists are leaders in this field because of our marriage of mental health and physical abilities. Being able to address the pelvic floor from that perspective really is a dream from a client's perspective. And so I thought, okay, how do I get out of my way? How do I put what got me here and what I think most of my clients need to be able to, at the end of the day, get more practitioners out there who are excellent in this work, doing exactly what they were meant to do.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's always been apparent to me that you're so passionate about what you do and you're so hands-on, with your students. And yet there's still a blind spot, isn't there, in actually and understanding what journey they need to go through, even though you're that close to them. And a lot of educators are going to be watching this thinking, hey, that's me. Like I'm an expert in what I do, whatever it is. And I'm really close to my students, but I'm not really sure what that journey is. So is there any advice that you would give people in that situation about what they can do to actually step back and reimagine the student journey?
Work with you.
Apart from that.
um, Honestly, I think it's like a lot of the questions that you asked us, Olly, in the course of our year together is what got me to look at this again as a newbie. As you said, I've been doing this for so long. I'm surrounded by these students. I host live events. I teach online. I really know, because I am an OT, I know OTs. But I think sometimes it really takes working with someone that can ask the right questions, and you yourself have to be in the right place to hear them. It's a partnership. And I think with starting to work with you, we were ready to entertain those questions, to look at things differently. So I would say get ready to get out of your own way. Get ready to just really look at your business with fresh eyes. It's scary because you think, oh, I have success. I'm able to pay my bills. Well, actually, what if you could do and make even a better impact if you take a step back and look at it with those fresh eyes? And I really think that's what I would encourage anyone listening to this to do, because it does take that ability to step away, which at the end of the day is incredibly hard when it's your life's work.
And there is a difference. There is a tangible difference between being the expert and being the teacher as well. I mean, in just the same way as the coach, the coach doesn't have to be the basketball coach doesn't have to be the best basketball player in the world, right? And equally, it's not a given that the expert is also the best teacher. But I mean, it's been fantastic to see you bridging this gap. And so, in terms of bridging the gap, we wanted to help the business grow so that you could get your message out to more people. I believe we've doubled the number of students that you've reached since last year.
Yeah.
or that you double the number of students that you reach in a typical year, which is fantastic. You haven't done this by yourself, though. I think part of what's happened is an expansion of the team. So just chart that course for us. How do we go from reimagining the customer journey and reimagining the journey that these trainees need to go on to doubling students through building the team? What was that pathway like?
A lot of work. And I mean, that's the other thing, right? In addition to being open to the feedback and open to the questions that you ask Ollie, because I think you really a lot of your expertise, I think, really comes in the questions that you ask, like and you ask fantastic questions. And so for us, like I think we were talking to you in November and we were thinking about like creating a level one program. By January, the level one program was done. Like we had it fully baked, the sales page was done, all of the emails were done for us to be able to do that level one program because we moved from something that was only a couple of weeks long to a 4.5 month long training program, right? So we greatly expanded the amount of contact hours Lindsey has with her students, which is one of the reasons why they're getting such great results, is because they're getting even more training. There's nothing else that's this comprehensive out there. But to do that, we had to hire. So we had to hire an in-person trainer to do the hands-on lab. We had to hire virtual TAs and in-person TAs. So we went from a team of just two of us to then adding a virtual assistant to now adding probably another 9 people, 3 in-person TAs and 6 online TAs. And we wouldn't have been able to do that, so the growth in the students helps pay for those resources. So it becomes this flywheel, right? Because you have more to reinvest into the business. And it was really important to us to pay those TAs well, because notoriously in this type of education space, a lot of the TAs don't actually get paid. They just get course credit. And we wanted a different model. So we pay our TAs very well above the industry standards. And that was really important to us because we have the message to OTs like your time is valuable, like your expertise is valuable. Let's compensate you adequately and fairly for it. And so it took a lot of just uncomfortable action and immediate action to be able to put it in place. And I think your philosophy all along was it's an experiment. Run it, get the feedback, look at the data, see how it's going. And after running that first cohort, we had record enrollments for our program because I think the path was just so incredibly clear. The offer was just so great. Like, wait a minute, I can go from a self-paced online course to joining a big community, which is very big for OTs, have multiple courses combined, have an in-person or virtual experience, and then actually graduate with a designation, graduate with some credentials. And the students that are coming out of that, they're getting jobs, they're starting their own businesses. And so you're really seeing that full transformation and that it's working and valuable for them, which is the best feeling.
Yeah, fantastic. And so increasing the number of staff that you work with so much, I mean, for some people that sounds like a nightmare. Has it been a positive for you guys?
Yeah, it has. And this is a testament to Lindsey. Lindsey does, I think it must just be the OT in her, but does a really fantastic job of cultivating community. And so the TAs are all people who have been part of previous programs of hers in the past. They've all done various projects together. So we did have a little bit of an unfair advantage because we had people that we could immediately call on that were trusted, and so but still it was a big hurdle for us to get over, just psychologically going, well, we're going to have to deal with all of those issues that comes along with managing people and hiring people and everything. But it's been fantastic.
Yeah, and full credit to you for actually doing this as well, because I mean, I remember when we were reconceiving, is that a word? Reconceptualizing, the customer journey in the business. It was a big change. I mean, I remember, I remember you guys were you took some convincing that it was the right move.
Yeah.
But from my side, I'll be honest. I mean, I was also nervous about how it was gonna go, because you never know for sure. And like you say, this general philosophy of testing, you have to test things. And it didn't necessarily have to work that way. I mean, we could have had to go through 1, 2, 3 iterations before finding the right path, and that sometimes happens. It just so happened in this case that it just worked straight out of the gate, and I think that's because there were so many signs pointing in that direction. But none of this happens without your willingness to actually make changes and bring people on and change the way you do things. So that's really fantastic. So it's been fantastic just to watch you guys taking on board the ideas we talk about, take action. We've doubled the number of students, and the impact that you're able to have, Lindsey, as a result is just. But it's doubtless absolutely huge. In business terms, I imagine there's been a positive impact on revenue as well.
Yeah, I'd say it's about doubled as well.
Well, that's a positive result for 12 months of work. So again, full credit to you. And thanks again for just laying this all out. If people would like to find more about you or get in touch, where's the best place to go?
Yeah, go to functionalpelvis.com. And just particularly if you're an OT in pelvic health or interested in pelvic. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I
yeah,
don't know how many pelvic health OTs I have in my particular audience, but functionalpelvis.com. Okay, guys, thanks so much. And again, from my side, it's been fantastic working with you. So
thank you so much,
keep in
Ollie.
touch.
Thank you, Ollie.